The main part of the Rosh Hashanah services is the shofar sounds, the sounds of the shofar. So we start the shofar with the first one, a tekiah, a long simple blast, such as it's followed by the shvarim, followed by the teruah, and then finally another simple long blast. What does all this mean? So we know there's a mitzvah, as it says, Yom Teruah Yelchem. It's a day of sounding the blast. But what is the message? What is the meaning to us? Why not verbalizing? Throughout the whole service, we have plenty of words. So if we want to say something to God, let's say this in words. But the idea is, we're expressing a certain emotion which is beyond articulation. And that is what we feel on Rosh Hashanah. Our bond with God is so deep, vast, and pervasive that it cannot be expressed in words. It's just a sound. And even that sound comes through an instrument. As an example, as a metaphor, think of a river that has run dry. It needs to be refilled. How do you do that? You go digging for a wellspring. You dig deep enough till you have water resurging. And the water comes to the surface and refills your river with water that has never been tapped. On Rosh Hashanah, we look at our own river that might be a little dried out. We need to replenish the connection. We dig deep into our souls to a place that has yet been untapped, a place that is beyond articulation, and to tap a new, fresh connection with God. And this is why the moment of shofar is so spiritual, so uplifting. We feel how it touches the strings of our souls. We stand silently and listen. Similar to how the high priest on Yom Kippur stood in the holies of holies and wouldn't express a word. Just he would be silent. Of those sounds, there's different sounds as we just heard them before. The long blast, the tekiah, is the least articulate. And although the other sounds, the shvarim and the teruah, they're also wordless, but they have some character. The shvarim is a groan, the teruah is a sob. They communicate a message that tells us what to feel. But the tekiah is just a cry, a deep, piercing wail that says nothing. It comes from the depth and has no message beyond the simple, I am here. The groaning and sobbing indicate remorse for having allowed our river to run dry. The tekiah is the blast that strikes a wellspring to refill it. The first tekiah is the agonizing cry from our depth. The second tekiah is God's response from above. Just like our yearnings emerges from our depth, so God responds emerges from his depth. And before we sound the shofar, we recite certain verses. The first one, Mina meitza karosika anoni v'merchavka, which means from the straits I call to God. From a vast expanse, God responds. So our first blast calls out to God from the straits, a deep confined place that has not yet been tapped. And the divine response comes from the celestial wellsprings that abounds with love and forgiveness. It is the wellspring that we sought to tap with our blast. So the first blast gives voice to our desperation, and the second blast gives voice to God's answer. Friends, we hope that before Rosh Hashanah, we will hear the powerful blast of the big shofar, the shofar of Mashiach, announcing the final redemption. And then, this Rosh Hashanah, we'll all be in the temple. We'll be together as one nation in the holy Beit HaMikdash. And we'll be able to see the Kohen Gadol in his glory, entering and exiting the Holy of Holies. And then, our outdoor services that we are experiencing today will be in the courtyard of the Beit HaMikdash and not on our respective porches. Let us hope. Let us be committed to our firm belief that indeed it is going to happen. This belief alone is reason enough for us to merit it.